Recently we recounted some of our best loved joke video game weapons that were surprisingly effective, such as the bar of soap, and the water pistol, and the stack of $100 bills. Yeah, I thought that was a long shot. The YouTube comments on that video, however, revealed that there were plenty more video game weapons that looked harmless but were deadlier than a box jellyfish with a flamethrower. Here are our faves from those suggestions. Enjoy, and watch out for spoilers for the following games.
This is the best gun in the whole galaxy. I paid 1,000,000 caps for it, and it wasn't even brand new. You mean it? Wow, thanks.
Most children's toys aren't threatening at all, except for Furbies. I don't know if you've ever tried to sleep alone in a room with one of those on the shelf, but bleh. So in definitely the best Fallout game, Fallout New Vegas, don't at me, you probably won't have high hopes for the toy gun that you can buy from Max, a kid you find running around Freeside.
Reach for the sky, lady.
I mean, sure, it looks like a cool alien ray gun, but if you point it at the various Mad Max extras who populate the New Vegas wasteland, it quickly becomes apparent that this is a joke weapon that doesn't do anything except make a disappointing click sound.
Move along.
Or at least it doesn't do anything until you finish a specific side quest, as pointed out by commenter Pierre Gravel, who says, Fallout New Vegas, the toy gun a kid sells to you for 1,000 caps, which does nothing at first, but then actually turns out to be an orbital laser targeting device. Yes, turns out that although this flashy firearm might just look like a retro plaything, it is actually a range-finding device known as Euclid's C-Finder, a targeting system for the Archimedes II orbital laser. So maybe stop waving it around and going pew pew pew. In order to actually use Euclid's C-Finder, you have to do the side quest, That Lucky Old Sun, in which you restore a solar power station to working order. Once you've done that, you're given the option of where to redirect the power. If you choose the Archimedes orbital defense system, your rinky-dink ray gun suddenly becomes one of the most powerful weapons in the game. That's because if you point it at something and pull the trigger, that thing will be obliterated by a column of intense energy roughly 5 seconds later. Euclid's C-Finder is so OP that you can only use it once every 24 hours, so the laser has time to recharge, which isn't that bad considering that's what I get from my 2-year-old iPhone. And when the result is this, you don't mind waiting. Makes you wonder what else that Furby is capable of.
Where am I? Alright, I know you're confused right now. I can explain everything, but you gotta trust me, okay? Listen, you're in terrible danger.
Dead Space 2 is one of the most horrifying games ever made. Thanks in part to the way Isaac Clarke goes to pieces quicker than a Jenga tower on a roller coaster. Isaac, please. It's also thanks to the necromorph enemies, who are mostly nightmarish flesh deck chairs with farming equipment for arms. As such, you're going to want as much deadly weaponry as possible to keep them from turning you into what looks like the contents of a dumpster behind a steakhouse. What you're not going to want is a foam finger, of the sort you get at sports games, sometimes with the words, "We're number one" written on them. Unless maybe it would put the necromorphs off psychologically. You know, we could get in their head. No, Isaac, I said we could get in their head. You know what, never mind. Anyway, as commenter Mars Caleb notes, this foam finger is a little more impressive than it looks. They say, how could you not mention the hand cannon from Dead Space? It's literally just a giant foam finger, and you point it at enemies and say bang bang bang. So though the hand cannon is a novelty foam finger, it is also somehow the most powerful weapon in the game. Firing it at a necromorph gets them legless faster than a stag party on a brewery tour. The best thing about the hand cannon is that although it is completely silent, Isaac makes up for that by providing sound effects all of his own. That's it, Isaac. You show those necromorphs the door. No, Isaac, I said you showed them that... You know what, it doesn't matter.
You might remember dubstep as the musical genre that sounds like a malfunctioning robot falling down a fire escape. I didn't say play a clip. Commenter Oscar Karlberg, however, along with anyone else who played Saints Row 4, remembers it somewhat differently, as an instrument of noisy death. As Oscar says, what about the dubstep gun from Saints Row 4? When you first get it, it's really just a funny gimmick, but fully upgraded it deals super high damage, causes explosions, and has unlimited ammo. The dubstep gun is a textbook joke weapon. It's a big fancy speaker stack with an attached turntable that makes everyone within hearing range awkwardly robot dance. It's a fun diversion, but it does take a while to charge up and can only be fired for a short amount of time before it runs out of juice, so is limited in its usefulness, unless you really want to make cars dance. However, as the commenter notes, the dubstep gun can be upgraded. Maxing out its recharge rate and charge capacity, coupled with its infinite ammo, gives you a weapon that can basically be fired forever. Or until you can't bear to listen to dubstep anymore.
As you might have guessed from the name, top-down shooter Enter the Gungeon is super into guns. Unless you thought it was about gunge. But it has a lot of things that aren't really guns, like a beehive. A pea shooter that fires literal peas. And a shotgun shell that shoots shotguns. Yet we're here to talk about a weapon that is even more of a joke than that, as suggested by commenter Foolish Fool, who says, in a game full of joke weapons, the sling in Enter the Gungeon stands out to me personally. Notably, the game is filled with guns. This is in fact just a sling. Kills bosses in a heartbeat, nonetheless. Yes, we're talking about a sling, or as it's otherwise known, a bit of string and a small stone. Despite being described by the game itself as barely a gun even by Gungeon standards, and being listed as a D-tier item, the sling has one unique feature that saves it from being a useless joke weapon, and that's its damage multiplier against bosses. In what we have to assume is a David and Goliath reference, the sling deals more damage against more powerful enemies. 2.5 times more damage in fact, which, coupled with the fact that its shots can ricochet off walls, means that you can take powerful bosses down in a few hits, leaving you more time to think up weird guns to use later. Have we done a unicorn horn that fires rainbows yet? Of course we have.
You have found your first treasure clue. Rumours abound that an item of value lies hidden somewhere in Albion.
Frying pans are only good for two things: frying pancakes and frying eggs, and that's literally it. So if you were asked to name an iconic weapon for a legendary hero, you'd be thinking of a lightsaber, or a gravity gun, something in that area, and definitely not a frying pan. And yet, as commenter Savage Wisdom pointed out in the comments, in Fable 1, a rusty old frying pan promised your hero mighty melee attacks beyond their wildest dreams. How about the frying pan in the original Fable? They make you go on a stupidly difficult treasure hunt all for a frying pan. At least they made it one of, if not the, most powerful weapon in the game. Yep, cast your mind back to the first Fable game when this cast iron treasure awaited the player who had the persistence, patience, and nothing else better to doance to seek it out. To get your heroic hands on this so-called hidden booty, you had to complete the Hidden Booty Hunt quest, which meant acquiring several treasure clues by doing several other quests, which was a total hassle.
The clues should lead you to it. I understand there are 6 of them in all.
Or if you were given to cheaty shortcuts, you went online, looked up the location where the booty was buried, travelled directly there and dug it up forthwith.
Yeah!
Joke's on you, suckers, you might have thought as you unearthed this relic with a spooky human face on it.
So you found the treasure, despite not having all the clues. I hope you'll find some use for your prize.
Except then you realised that because you had cheated your way to the treasure, the frying pan was actually useless, and the joke was in fact on you, suckers. See, if you had done the quest and acquired the proper clues to find the frying pan, it would have a deeply impressive 5 augment slots, which meant you could jazz it up with 5 mystical stones into potentially the mightiest weapon in creation, like the Infinity Gauntlet, but with a non-stick coating. However, if you googled your way to the location of this infinity skillet, it would have no slots and do 0 damage, and make you look like a chump waving it around. This is either a morality tale about the value of hard work, or a morality tale about how frying pans are truly only good for 2 things: frying pancakes, frying eggs.
Unidentified ship. This is Control. Please identify yourself. Over.
This is Cortez.
Sergeant Cortez. Welcome home, sir. I'll patch you through to the General.
The TimeSplitters series features weapons from across the entirety of human history, journeying into the past and offering predictions for the far-flung future. Like this level from TimeSplitters 1, set in the year 2020. It doesn't seem likely that we'll have sci-fi laser weapons in 8 months. We can't even invent a wireless router that isn't complete garbage. So you'd expect that the most powerful weapon in the 3rd game, TimeSplitters Future Perfect, would be some sort of laser-guided portable nuke or high-energy railgun from the year 2335. But as commenter WhatPants identified, it's actually something a little more gritty. The brick! TimeSplitters Future Perfect, a one-hit kill brick in a game where rocket launchers and sci-fi guns can't one-hit kill. Yes, it turns out that flying masonry was by far the most effective weapon in Future Perfect, offering the sort of stopping power that a .44 Magnum could only dream of.
Killing spree!
Wow, now I see why they make you wear a hard hat on a construction site. As you'd imagine, the game wasn't just going to hand out a weapon of this sort of awesome, destructive power right at the start. You'd have to earn it. To do that, you'd need to complete the Avec la Brique challenge, where you smash every single breakable object in a Chinese restaurant. Hey, if you didn't like your meal, maybe just leave a negative review on Yelp? Long-time TimeSplitters fans will know that the brick was a running joke weapon available in every game in the series, and unlocked by the Super Smashing Greats challenges. That includes TimeSplitters 2, where you ended up making a complete mess of Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. To be fair, turned out to be a far more accurate prediction of the future. Too soon?
Too soon.
Too soon.
The Hyperion Corporation wishes to extend an olive branch, murderer. Should you considerably lower this world's bandit population, Hyperion is willing to reward you with a unique gun crafted just for you.
In the last video, we mentioned the Bane from Borderlands 2, a submachine gun that's as powerful as it is annoying. I didn't say play a clip. But we had a bunch of comments from Borderlands 2 fans, some of which weren't savage assessments of our worth as Borderlands players, such as this from commenter Raging Beast, who says, "The Morningstar from Borderlands 2, a gun that insults you but is overpowered due to its critical hit stacking. The Morningstar is a sniper rifle from the manufacturer Hyperion. The player is awarded it for completing a quest from Hyperion itself to kill 100 bandits, something that, with this being Borderlands, we were going to do anyway. Once you do that, you're rewarded with the Morningstar, described as being custom designed for a murderer such as yourself.
Enjoy the Hyperion XKCD experimental weapon. Custom designed for a murderer like yourself."
What they actually mean by that is that this rifle is custom designed to make you feel bad. Question your life choices.
You don't talk to your parents.
and insult your gaming skills.
You were a better shot to reload.
Man, I see where the YouTube commenters get it from. Even though the Morningstar is extremely unpleasant to be around, it does have its advantages. As the comment notes, each consecutive critical hit with this sniper rifle adds an extra 20% damage to subsequent crits, which stack, meaning you can deal some truly spectacular damage. If you're willing to deal with the guilt trips, that is.
Not donating to charity. You directly murder thousands of people every day.
The Bane is starting to look real good all of a sudden.
Great, now you're wasting ammo.
Alright, so those were some more of our favourite joke weapons that are actually surprisingly effective. But you know what isn't a joke? This quality video game content right up here. We have a video up here from us about dumb things that blocked your path. And down here we have a video from sister channel, Outside Extra, about the Pokemon who just sort of got creepier over time. Thanks for watching, we'll see you next time.